All right, so are you ready to dive into this? Kind of musician you'll be really glad you discovered. We're going to be looking at excerpts from this manuscript. It's called Spoken Jazz and the Tingg Machine. It's the world of Bub Pratt, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
Yeah, like someone took all of Bub's life experiences, threw them in a blender, hit the high setting. Our mission, we got to decode Bub, his passions, relationships, that unique outlook that just jumps off the page.
You get this feeling he's this cool jazz guy, but then he'll just totally contradict himself.
See, that's fascinating. It really speaks to that whole thing about like prioritizing creative expression above everything else. What do you think about that, listener? Would you make that choice?
Speaking of creative expression, we gotta talk music. This manuscript, it's jam-packed with jam sessions, always experimenting, pushing boundaries. And get this, his vocal technique. He can imitate trumpet sounds.
It's so unique, though.
Yeah.
And it's not just some gimmick. When the manuscript describes that recording session he did with the jazz choir, it really comes through.
That resonates, We've all been there. Maybe not in a literal recording booth, but, dealing with something we don't love to get to that bigger goal.
Oh, absolutely. And that seems to be like a recurring theme with Bub, this constant like push and pull between his kind of chaotic lifestyle and the discipline his music demands.
And then there's Bub's love life. Buckle up, listener. This manuscript does not disappoint. It's a whirlwind. Intense connections, messy breakups, this constant search for something real.
It's interesting, though. The manuscript itself, it's written in this really episodic way, jumps between different moments in time. Do you think Bub's relationships, they mirror that same fragmented structure?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you think about how it ends. It really gives you like a glimpse into how Bub processes those really intense emotional experiences.
Speaking of processing experiences, Bub's relationship with Marshall, his bandmate. It's a nice contrast, wouldn't you say?
For sure. Marshall seems like one of the few constants in Bub's life. Always there to jam, share ideas, offer that grounded perspective.
Remember that scene, though, after Bub's little incident on the roof? And without missing a beat, Marshall's there. It really speaks volumes about the kind of loyalty Bub values, maybe even needs, in the middle of all that chaos.
For someone who thrives on spontaneity, Bub can be surprisingly philosophical.
Yeah, those late-night jam sessions, they seem to spark these really deep conversations about life, the universe, you name it. It's like the music unlocks this whole other level of thinking, a space for reflection.
Makes you wonder, is that what drew him to jazz in the first place? This freedom to explore the unconventional in life and in music.
It's a real possibility.
Yeah.
And it's not just the music. The people he surrounds himself with, they also point to that desire to break the mold.
Speaking of breaking the mold, let's talk about some of these characters. I mean, they really pop up in this manuscript.
Where do we even begin? The story of Bub, like jumping off the bridge and then sweet-talking his way out of trouble with the fire department. Classic.
It's like he's living life on a different frequency or something. No matter how crazy things get, he always seems to land on his feet. And then there's Nature Boy Phil.
Phil. A mentor, but not your typical mentor.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. That scene where Phil's teaching Bub and they end up having this heart-to-heart about relationships, talk about unexpected wisdom. It's like Phil sees right through Bub's like carefree facade, offers this grounded perspective that he seems to really value.
They're dynamic. Definitely one for the books. It's almost as if Phil represents like a different kind of freedom, one that's found in nature and carving your own path, no matter how unconventional it might seem.
Absolutely. He's like this grounding force, a counterpoint to Bub's more impulsive energy.
You're never quite sure what to expect. Is he going to like start a bar fight or offer you a hug? Who knows?
It's those little details, those unexpected encounters that make Bub's world feel so real, so relatable, But for all the outward chaos, the manuscript gives us these glimpses into Bub's inner world too, like that anecdote about him catching his friend's neighbor recording their phone sex. Awkward.
It's those moments of vulnerability, though, that humanize him. He's not just this larger-than-life character. He's someone who experiences those relatable, cringe-worthy moments that we all have.
Sure.
And speaking of those little things that ground us, we can't forget about Bub's beloved typewriter, the Tingg machine. It's more than just a tool, though. It's like another character in the story.
He's obsessed with it. But it makes sense, right? In a world that's so dominated by technology, the Tingg machine, it represents something tangible, a physical manifestation of his creative process.
Exactly. And the fact that he loves that heavy thing everywhere, dedication. He even has someone interview him specifically about his typewriter and writing process. It seems like even Bub recognizes the importance of documenting his journey.
That's a good point. The jazz enthusiast, the complex romantic, the loyal friend, the deep thinker, but there's more to uncover.
And let's not forget Bub's deep dive into like the world of jazz. It goes way beyond just playing. You know, the manuscript mentions him spending time with this guy, Andrew, Teresa's friend. He's studying to be a conductor. What's interesting is how Bub, he like peppers Andrew with all these questions about classical music theory, conducting.
Yeah.
Completely different from his own style, but he's like totally absorbed by it.
Yeah, it's like he's got this deep respect for the technical mastery of classical music, even if his own style is way more like improvisational, you know?
Yeah.
Reminds me of that anecdote about how he memorizes those complex jazz pieces, not note by note, but by like recognizing patterns and intervals. What do you think about that, listener? Does that change how you see his relationship with music?
It adds another layer to his artistry, for sure. It's like he sees music as this living thing, something to be understood, felt, not just like replicated.
Right. It's almost like his charm, which is so endearing in other situations, it becomes the source of tension in their relationship. He's surrounded by women and he seems genuinely interested in them, but but in the context of a committed relationship, bound to create some complications.
Especially for someone like Jackie, who's already carrying some baggage from her past. Remember that conversation they have about Vegas? It's subtle, but you get the sense that she's running from something, trying to find a fresh start in Silverdale.
Makes you wonder, is that why she's so drawn to Bub in the first place? He represents this escape from the ordinary, this plunge into like a world of creativity and spontaneity.
But as they say, you can't outrun yourself forever, right?
Okay.
And that becomes painfully clear. It's understandable, though.
Right.
Jackie's feeling insecure, unsure of her place in this new world, and Bub's deep in conversation with another musician. Add in the attention from the other choir girls, and it's a recipe for disaster.
And it explodes in classic Bub fashion with that intense scene in the hotel room. Goes from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. They're arguing.
But there's something to be said about how Bug handles the situation.
Absolutely. He doesn't shy away from it. He's there for Jackie, even though he's grappling with his own emotions. He doesn't make promises he can't keep, but he shows up. It adds a layer of complexity to his character that I think is often overlooked when we talk about like free spirits.
I agree. He's not perfect, but he's trying to navigate a really difficult situation with honesty and compassion. That same compassion shines through in his interactions with others too. Remember his friend, neck gash, falls through the window.
Ouch. That whole scene was a bit much. But Bub's reaction, remarkable. He doesn't hesitate to help, even resorting to some rather unconventional first aid methods. Listener, have you ever had to like think on your feet like that? Tell us about it.
It's those small acts of kindness, though. Those moments where he puts the needs of others before his own. That's what reveals a different side of Bub. And it's not just about like helping, it's about connecting. Remember Bruce, the guy he meets in the diner bathroom.
Oh, Bruce. He was a piece of work. But Bub doesn't dismiss him. He listens to his stories, shares his own experiences. You realize there's this mutual respect there. Despite their differences in age and experience, it's like Bub recognizes that everyone has a story to tell, something valuable to offer.
And isn't that refreshing? In a world that often prioritizes those surface-level interactions, he seeks out those genuine connections.
And it makes you think about the role of different types of relationships in our own lives, right? Do you gravitate towards people who comfort us, who validate our choices? Or do we seek out those who challenge us, who push us to be better?
And maybe, just maybe, we need a little bit of both. But let's not forget, for all his introspection, Bub's still a man of action. That scene where he defends Marshall when the cops show up, classic Bub.
Fearless, a little bit reckless, and totally loyal. It's like he has this internal compass that points him toward what's right, even if it means going against authority.
It certainly forces that independent spirit we were talking about earlier. And speaking of independence, let's shift gears a bit and talk about his relationship with his craft. That moment in the manuscript when he describes the ting of the typewriter as a heartbeat. That's powerful. What do you think it represents?
It's like the ting is the pulse of his creativity, this rhythm that grounds him amidst all the chaos.
The typewriter itself, it represents a choice. In a world that's increasingly digital, Bub chooses this analog form of expression. It's deliberate, it's tangible, and it requires a certain level of commitment that's becoming increasingly rare.
Absolutely. It's like he's reclaiming something that's been lost in the digital age, the slow burn of crafting words, sentence by sentence, thought by thought. Speaking of choices, Bub's decision to just up and move onto a boat, that feels kind of major, doesn't it?
It's a huge change. Like he's shedding those last bits of conventional life and embracing this whole other level of freedom. What do you think, listener? Have you ever felt that pull to just like completely change your life?
It's a powerful image, isn't it? The boat just bobbing on the water. It's almost like a metaphor for Bub himself, just, navigating all the unpredictable currents of life, but on his own terms.
And on that boat, surrounded by the vastness of the Puget Sound, he really seems to come into his own. Like that isolation, that distance from all the distractions of everyday life, it allows him to really tap into a much deeper level of creativity.
And it's not just like solitary reflection out there on the water. He's still got that knack for attracting some pretty colorful characters. Remember his encounter with Fingers at the basement?
Oh man, Fingers. You think you've got Bub figured out, and then Fingers walks in and everything's upside down again? It's chaotic, it's unpredictable, but isn't that like life itself? We can try to control things, but sometimes you just got to embrace the wild ride.
And sometimes those wild rides, they lead to some pretty unexpected wisdom, like Bub's conversations with Bruce, the self-proclaimed engine whisperer in the bathroom. Talk about a wealth of knowledge.
What's interesting about those conversations, though, is that they kind of hint at a shift in Bub's perspective. He's not just soaking up his stories for entertainment. He's actively weaving them into his understanding of Silverdale, of forces that have shaped the place, the people.
It's like he's becoming more aware of the historical and social context that informs his own life and the life of the people around him.
Exactly. It's subtle, but it's an evolution. He's not just observing the world through like a purely artistic lens anymore. He's starting to see the interconnectedness of things, the ways our individual stories are shaped by these larger forces.
And speaking of larger forces, I mean, we can't not mention Bub's poem about the Twin Towers.
That poem is incredibly powerful. It captures the rawness, the shock, the collective grief that so many people felt after that day. What's striking, though, is how he balances that really heavy emotion with this glimmer of hope, this belief in the resilience of the human spirit.
It's a reminder that even in the face of tragedy, even when things feel, impossibly dark, there's still beauty to be found and a future to be built.
That sense of hope, of finding light in unexpected places, it seems to permeate Bub's whole story, even when he's facing those really personal challenges.
Absolutely. Take that scene at the strip club, for example. It's so easy to get swept up in the energy of the place, but Bub seems like detached, almost melancholic. It's like he's searching for something deeper, something more meaningful amidst all those surface level distractions.
It speaks to that inner conflict we've been talking about, that tension between his desire for fleeting pleasure and then his yearning for something more substantial.
And sometimes that search for meaning, it leads to some pretty unexpected places, like his experience with the mushroom tea at Bill's house.
Oh man, talk about a wild ride. That scene is just crackling with a different kind of energy. It's introspective, philosophical, and a little bit terrifying all at the same time.
You really get the sense that Bub's mind is expanding, making these connections he never even considered before. Like he's suddenly aware of the vastness of the universe and his own small place in it.
And that realization, as daunting as it might be, it ultimately seems to be a positive turning point for him. It's like he emerges from that experience with this renewed sense of purpose, a deeper appreciation for the beauty and the fragility of life.
He channels that energy into his music, his writing, even his relationships. Remember his time with the jazz band and his audition for Rick, the band director. Rick seemed to see right through Bub's casual exterior and recognize the raw talent just simmering beneath the surface.
And for all his independent streak, he seemed to really crave that mentorship, that push to really hone his craft. It shows a level of dedication we don't always associate with those free spirits.
It's like he's finally found a balance between his natural talent and the discipline it takes to truly master his art.
And that newfound balance, it seems to spill over into his personal life as well. Even with its ups and downs, it's a testament to that. He's still drawn to passion and creativity, but there's this maturity there, an understanding of the complexities that come with a committed partnership. It's a mature way to handle heartbreak, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's about accepting that sometimes even the most intense connections, they have a season. and that letting go with grace is just as important as holding on.
It's a powerful lesson, and one that I think resonates with all of us, listener. Have you ever had to redefine what a successful relationship looks like? We'd love to hear your thought. But let's get back to Bub. His journey takes yet another turn when he decides to become a barista at the local cafe.
It's not like the glamorous life of a touring musician or anything, but it provides something that Bub seems to really crave: a sense of community, a routine, a place to ground himself amidst the constant motion of this life.
And let's not forget, even as a barista, he's still observing, still gathering all that material for his writing. The cafe becomes this microcosm of human experience, this constant flow of stories, interactions, and fleeting moments of connection.
It's a reminder that inspiration can be found in the most ordinary places if we're just open to it. And Bub, with his insatiable curiosity and his knack for connecting with people from all walks of life, he seems to have mastered the art of finding the extraordinary in the everyday.
As we reach the end of our deep dive into the world of Bub Pratt and his Tingg machine, what have we learned?
We've encountered a man of contradictions, a free spirit who craves discipline, a talented musician who seeks out challenges, a charismatic charmer who longs for depth and meaning.
His story, much like the manuscript itself, it's this patchwork of experiences, relationships, and introspective journeys. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and it's utterly captivating.
And isn't that a reflection of life itself, full of unexpected turns and fleeting moments of beauty and the constant search for connection and meaning?
It certainly is. As we leave you to ponder the enigmatic world of Bub Pratt, we'll leave you with this final thought. Perhaps the most important lesson we can glean from his story is the importance of embracing the unknown, of listening to the rhythm of our own creative hearts, and of finding beauty in the messy, chaotic symphony of life. Thanks for tuning in.